Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
Hi, can you please introduce yourself for us?
Yes, I'm Irvin Heisman. I'm 88 years old, and I'm Evan's grandfather.
How old were you when the war was declared in 1941?
I was 19 years old.
Where were you when the word of the attack on Pearl Harbor was announced?
I was listening to the radio at my home.
Did you enlist in the military, or were you drafted?
No, I enlisted in the Navy.
Where did you undergo your basic training?
San Diego, California.
Was it difficult?
No, not at all.
To what theater of war were you assigned?
I was assigned to the Pacific Theater.
In what branch and unit did you serve?
I was in the Navy, in the Aviation Division.
What was your rank when you were discharged?
3rd class Aviation Ordnanceman.
And when did you return to your family?
In 1944, first time.
Did you agree with President Roosevelt and Congress that America needed to enter the war in 1941, or should we have entered the war earlier?
No, I think what we did was right, and I think entering the war in 1941 was the right thing to do.
Where were you on VE Day?
In VJ Day, I was in Reno, Nevada on Liberty.
And what were you doing?
I was just on recreation.
Okay. Were there any specific reasons why you joined the Navy?
Yes, because I just liked being in the Navy.
And you didn't want to join the Army?
No,
Or
no, I didn't want to be drafted, so I joined the Navy.
did you see any combat?
No, not actual combat, no.
What did you do on the ships?
On a ship, well, I did the same thing that I did on the islands. I served as the aircraft for the carriers.
So what specific island were you located on?
I was on the Russal Islands, which is part of the Solomons, and on the islands, well, we had to service the aircraft carrier planes. We'd load the bombs and torpedoes and ammunition, so they can go back on the carrier and go out and perform their duties.
Did you enjoy this work?
Yes, I did.
Do you have any stories you want to share?
Well, some of the things I remember we used to do, if we weren't busy, we'd go out and maybe get a flight with one of the Air Force bombers, and we'd go on a bombing run with them, and just to be doing something different.
And what would you do on the bombing run?
Just watching, just take it easy.
What was your most memorable experience during the war?
Well, while on the islands, we would experience this one Japanese would fly over, and they'd call him Washing Machine Charlie, and he'd just aggravate us and disturb our sleep.
So what did he actually do?
It was just an annoyance run.
Okay. Were you awarded any medals after the war?
Well, I was a few of them, yes. I had just the Asiatic Pacific American Theater, Good Conduct, and a couple of others I don't really remember.
What did you think of your fellow sailors?
Well, everybody got along good.
How did you stay in contact with your family?
Well, we wrote on what they call V-mail, which was victory mail, and of course then we'd wait for letters and things to come back, and of course we'd get packages and stuff like that from the family, which we enjoyed a lot.
Do you recall the day that your service ended?
Yes, I do. It was 1948 when I served my 6 years of service, and I went home, and that was it.
Were you happy about leaving? Or did you want to stay in the Navy?
I wanted to stay, but I wasn't sure, so I got out.
Okay. Did your parents approve of you serving in the Navy?
Yes, they did.
How did you hear about the bombing of Hiroshima?
Through word of mouth while I was on the islands.
And what about one of your friends you told me? How he...
Oh yes, I have two friends of mine. They both worked on the Enola Gay, which was loading the atomic bomb.
Did they know what they were doing?
No, they didn't. They weren't told, and the only ones who knew actually that they were going to bomb Japan was the pilot.
How did you hear about the surrender of Japan?
Through word of mouth.
Do you keep in contact with any of your fellow sailors?
I did for quite a few years, yes.
Do you still keep in contact with them?
Well, a few now and then.
What was your biggest fear during the war?
I don't really know I've ever had any real fear to question about.
Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Well, thank you.